price your photography, whether it's weddings, families, models, or whatever it is. One of the hardest moments in learning photography is not so much working with your camera, it is this question. Very important question, and you're all going to cross it. Can I actually charge for my work? And if so, what do I charge? I've seen more photographers go into this and get frustrated and quit than most any other thing, because it will literally drive you crazy if you don't do it right. And I'll tell you, my first 6-7 years, I did it wrong. I wish I would have known this. So let's get into it. So today I want to explain how pricing works, not so much as a formula, but more as a world decision, letting the market choose your value. And pricing isn't math. It's not so, okay, I paid this for my camera and my flash, and I've got this much time in it, and a 5x7 is going to cost me this much. It's not so much that we're going to dwell on, because pricing is more confidence than it is anything else. They think, well, I'm still learning, I shouldn't charge very much. So they charge $50, $75, $100, maybe $250, $300 if it's a wedding. And here's what happens with that. Because I can tell you, when I first started doing weddings heavily, my goal was to book 100% of everybody that called, no matter what I had to do. And that is completely 110% wrong. Now, this sounds crazy, but just follow me on this. I'm ready. I got notes today. I got water. So we're going to get into this. We're going to learn how to do this today, because this is a big question. A lot of people really need to know how to do this. The problem is cheap clients behave differently than other clients. Cheap clients are going to cancel more often. They're going to respect you less. They're going to question you more, and they're going to demand more edits, because they may not know how to work Photoshop, but they know out there in the world somewhere is this program called Photoshop, and it's some kind of magical program that'll fix anything. And remember, these are the clients, they're cheapest, that you're doing for the least amount of money, but you're putting more amount of work into them than anything. And I wish I had my data numbers from about 1992, somewhere in there, to show you guys from the moment I stopped doing the cheap stuff and started just charging more. I wish I had that with me, but I don't have it. That was a long time ago. So when you're dealing with all the cheap clients who are driving you crazy, you start to stress over your photography way more than you should. I've seen very talented photographers burn out from this, trying to figure this out. Underpricing does not make it easier. It doesn't make you more money. It actually makes photography harder for you, and you don't want that. You don't want to work more and make less. You want to work less and make more. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And here's what nobody really tells beginner. This is number 2. So number 2, what nobody really tells the beginner. You are ready to start charging for your pictures when you can deliver consistent results. Now, if you're still learning and you're shooting and you go out and do one family and it's great, and then you go out the next week and do another family and it looks absolutely terrible, you may not be ready yet. And definitely at wedding photography, I talk about wedding photography a lot because that's what I did for 42 years. Definitely with wedding photography, don't go trying to shoot it without working with another photographer for at least a year, even if you have to do it for free, because there's so much to learn. And I've covered that in the past few videos, so I won't keep on that again. You can look back in some of the past videos here in February, and you can hear about that. But you just need to be consistent. You don't have to be outstanding to start charging. You need to be consistently good. When that stranger can look at you and depend and know that you're going to get all the important pictures and not miss any shots, that's a very, very good sign that it's time for you to start charging. For weddings, that means you understand timelines. You can work under pressure, and you can handle bad lighting, and you can direct people. And you can also handle situations with people that you're going to get into at weddings where, maybe divorced parents don't get along. You've got to know how to handle all that at the wedding. When you can do all that, and you've already worked with somebody for a while, I think you're ready for wedding photography. I'm going to get into actual amounts here in just a minute, so stick with me. You'll know that you can do family sessions when you can control a group, when you can manage kids, when you can create expressions, and you can produce a consistent gallery every time. You're not selling art as much as you are selling reliability, and that's very important because customers want consistency. In fact, just a few days ago, I did a photo shoot for a lady who she had 2 kids. I did her daughter's first senior portraits for her yearbook. I did her senior portrait session, a bunch of other stuff for her senior year. And then she just called me the other day and wanted me to do her son's pictures. And that's because she liked what I did with her daughter, you know, everything was consistent. So she didn't call me and say, hey, what do you charge for this? Hey, what's the price? She's like, hey, can you shoot the pictures? Can we do it so-and-so day at this time? There was no talk about prices or anything like that. She said, can you do it? And I said, yes. She knows what to expect from me, and it's kind of a mutual thing. She knows me. I do her pictures. She knows she can trust me. They're going to be good. In fact, she texted me earlier and said they all loved them, so that's fantastic. But that's what you want. You want consistency. So first, let's talk about family sessions. For your first few family sessions that you're going to charge for, don't start at $50 for a sitting fee. You want to start more around $150 to $300, because if they have investment in it, they're going to be more apt to work with you. They're going to be more dedicated. They're going to give you more time. They're not going to be in a hurry because they've got investment in this. So don't freak out if you say, okay, it's $225 for a sitting fee. Don't be scared to throw out numbers. Because remember earlier when I said I was trying to get every wedding to book, that was completely the wrong way to do it, because with that comes the wrong kind of client. I've got more coming on that in just a second. So bear with me. We're getting there. We got a couple things toward the end of the video that you guys really need to hear. And you can start around $150 to $300 because they're hiring you for peace of mind. They know that you're going to do the job, you're going to do it consistently, you're going to deliver, and you're going to show up. And if you're too cheap, you'll actually scare some clients. Say somebody calls you and they've been looking around, they've been calling around, everybody's $200 to $300, and suddenly you throw out, I'll do it for $50. Okay. They think there's something shady about this guy. That too good to be true thing starts running through their mind. If everybody else is charging $200 to $300, what's wrong with him? Why is he only charging $50? So you don't want that. That can signal that you may not be a dependable person, and you do not want that. So now with weddings, now we get into my subject. Now your first wedding should not be premium full price. Got to be realistic here. But they should not be almost free. Now this is a little different than one of the few of the videos a while back where I was talking about doing something for free. That was coming at it from a different angle. You can do that on one wedding if you know the person, different circumstances for different people. Put the free one out of your mind for a minute and let's deal with 99.9% of everything that's actually going to happen. And a realistic range, and I've got some notes because I did some looking everywhere on the computer and what I had and what I thought and what I charged and what I can remember. And so I got a lot of sources going through my head. And I think a realistic starting figure is $800 to $1,500. But remember, that is just to photograph the wedding. And what I highly suggest to deliver their pictures is there's a company called ShootProof that I love. They're great. They'll host your pictures. You go through, you shoot the pictures in RAW. I hope you're shooting in RAW. You edit them, you turn them all JPEG, you load them into ShootProof, you load your picture prices, everything in the ShootProof, email the customer, they send out the link to everybody, and now you've got hundreds of people ordering off this one wedding. The $800 to $1,500 you charged up front, that's just to photograph it. The real money is going to come from your wedding orders, and that's where you want to have your pricing also correct. Is very important. Just because a 5x7, as you know, costs very little, you're not selling prints. You're selling you, and you're selling your ability and your talent and your consistency. So don't just do the math and go, let me double or triple my money on a 5x7. That's not how you do it, okay? Now, on some of your first few weddings, when you're charging between $800 and $15, it's going to do like two things. It's going to attract real couples, and it's going to create real expectations, which is what you want. You want to be able to deliver. If you're not confident that you can deliver this, you're not ready for weddings yet. But just be confident. If you've been consistent, then you can do it. Look at your consistency more than anything else. And what you've consistently done is what they can expect. And that's what you can expect to give them at their wedding, is what you've done consistently. And plus the expectations are going to help you improve very quickly, which will also raise your price very quickly. So $800 to $1,500 is going to seem very cheap 6 months later. And here's where a lot of photographers get stuck again. They wait until they feel super confident before they can charge a lot. They might go a couple of years. Like I told you guys, I went like 6 or 7 years before I really raised my prices. But here's the thing, all the confidence doesn't come before raising your prices. Confidence comes because you have priced them correctly. When you charge appropriately, clients will respect you, they'll trust your direction, and they will cooperate. Now that is huge, Because if your client back, let's say you wanted to charge instead of the $800 to $1,500, you really needed some money and you're like, I'm afraid to charge very much. I'm going to charge them $350. Well, you're going to draw the wrong kind of client at $350. I mentioned this the other day. I'll mention it again quick. You're going to get people who are more interested in drinking beer, getting drunk, falling down than they are having good pictures made. Why? Because they have no investment. If they're not invested into the photography, they're not going to give time to your photography. They're going to go invest their time in drinking, dancing, and that kind of thing. And if that's what they want to do, that's fine. That's their wedding. If that's not the wedding you want to be involved in, if you're going to make some money, you want people that have paid upfront $3,500 to $4,000 in just a couple of years after you've been shooting. I'd say $4,000 is a good price range. That will find you the right client. That'll get you the client when you say, you guys need to be ready at 10. We're going to shoot the girls for an hour and a half, and then we're going to bring out the guys, blah, blah, whatever order you want to go in. When you start charging the right amount of money, a couple things are going to happen. You're going to draw the right client. They're going to be ready because they are invested, and you're going to start hearing the word no. If somebody calls you and says, I need a wedding this date, what do you charge? And you say, $4,000. I know it depends on, how many hours and where you're located and all that, where it's kind of being vague at the moment. But you say $4,000 and they go, well, our budget's only $1,600. Don't match their $1,600. You're not too expensive. They just can't afford you. Okay. So remember that. Don't freak out when they say no, or, oh God, you're too expensive. I can't afford that. Well, that's fine. That's right. They can't afford that. You do not want everybody. When I went through this last spell before I learned back in the early 90s, where I learned to adjust my prices, I was booking one drunk wedding after another, and they were drinking. They didn't care about pictures. They show up late. They're falling all over the place. They don't care about their pictures. And if you can't shoot good pictures, you're obviously not going to get any good sales. You're not going to get good recommendations. You're not going to have pictures to show future clients. You're not going to be able to build your portfolio with them. You're just going to get driven crazy of why you can't fix their pictures when they're falling down drunk. That's not what you want. So if they say they can afford $1,600 and you're a couple of years into it, go fine. That's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling us. If I can help you out, feel free to call me back. And I can't tell you through my career, how many people, oh my goodness, how many people have called me back that called me before their wedding that said I was too expensive, that then called me almost crying a few months later after their wedding going, oh my God, the pictures are terrible. I've even had probably 15 to 20 people over the years tell me the photographer never delivered the pictures. He disappeared. But that's the price range they're in. So you're kind of weeding them out that way. Now, if you're charging $4,000 and 90% of your clients are saying no, then you need to readjust things. You need to take another look at your consistency, or maybe the market you're in, because, Beverly Hills photographer is going to make more than a photographer in, say, West Virginia. And it's just a fact. It's just where you live. So that does play part of a role. So if you guys that are listening, if you have any questions, you drop a comment down at the bottom, or you can email me. If you want to go into a lot of details that you don't want the world to read about, you can send me an email and I'll help you go over this. We can see your location, your experience, what you've done, and I will be glad to help any of you guys price this. And pricing isn't the reward for confidence. Pricing creates confidence for you, because you can go, hey, I must be doing something right. These people are paying me $4,000 to photograph their wedding and nobody complained. But the good thing after that, they are so intense on getting good pictures at the wedding. Once you get them their pictures into, say, Shootproof is who I use. That's what I'm going to talk about. Use Shootproof to show your pictures on. They're going to order a lot of pictures. I remember I was in Alabama. I had just shot a wedding about 2 weeks earlier. We were at a conference, and I woke up one morning. We had a wedding. I opened it up, and we had $4,000 in reorders from one wedding come in one night. So that's the kind of stuff that you want. Now, you're not always going to get that from just a couple of people on one wedding, but you will enough. There will be enough of those that come through that you can say, all right, that's really good. So now not only have you made $4,000 up front, you just got 4,000 reorders from 2 or 3 people on one night, plus the other reorders that are coming in. We'll get into reorder pricing here in a minute too. So a while ago when I said start out at $800 to $1,500, maybe do that for your first 2 weddings and then go up. The next wedding, go up. If you were add $200 to it, and then the next wedding add $250, and then from $250 add $325, and then $325 to go to $400. And say if you started off at $10, now you're at $1,400, which is not bad for a couple months being into photography. you're getting the right client. You may not be getting tons of money up front, but you're getting enough money that your client's going to have enough investment that they are going to want to take time to get the pictures made. If your client doesn't have enough invested and you're trying to shoot everybody's pictures, people are going to get tired. Just the bride and groom are going to get tired because they're going to be in a lot of pictures, especially the grooms. Grooms, I don't like to have my picture made. I know that's funny. I'm a photographer, but I don't. I hate having my picture made. And most grooms don't like to have their picture made. So if I don't know the groom very well, I'm still, and this is, doesn't, I'm really on a rabbit trail right now, but I think this is important for you to hear. When you're dealing with a groom, if you haven't met him yet, which I think you always should meet him before the wedding, but let's say you hadn't, you go in and you say, hey, I'm Daniel, I'm a photographer, and look, here's the deal, man. I know you might not enjoy getting pictures made. I don't myself, but just bear with me. We're going to get you through the day. If you can cooperate, give us some good smiles and follow along, we'll have your pictures done quicker than you think. You won't have to spend all day doing it. Kind of let them know, hey, man, I know this kind of stinks having to do this all day long, and so letting the groom know you're going to do your best to get good pictures so that everybody's going to be happy. But I'm not going to do so many pictures that I'm going to have him pulling his hair out by the end of the day because he's so tired of taking pictures. And that's something you'll learn as you go. You probably learned that when you're working with a photographer beforehand. So as you're going along, upping your price on every wedding, if you never get a no when people call you and go, how much is the price? I'm simplifying this because it don't go like that exactly. But they call how much your price, and you say blah, 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 $1,900, and you're never getting a no, then you're charging too little. I say you need to book about 75% of the people that call you. If you're getting 100% booking and you're at $1,900, take it up to $2,500 for a while. You'll probably drop down to 90%. Go up from there, go up to $3,000. If you drop down to 75, hold it right there because that's going to be your spot for a while. So if you're booking 75% of your clients at around $3,200, I think you're doing excellent. I think you found your price range for your upfront pricing. And remember, if they're doing an 8-hour wedding, you're not necessarily charging them by the hour. I know a lot of photographers say, oh, you got charged by the hour. And I have sheets that are listed 6-hour wedding, 8-hour weddings. That's more for the customer than it is for me because you're not really charging for the 8 hours because there's so much more goes into a wedding than just the 8 hours you're at the wedding. That's the least you're going to put into the wedding. There's a lot to do before the wedding and after the wedding. You've got all these pictures you've got to edit and get up on the shoot proof, get everything looking good and get the price listing. You've got a lot, many hours. You're going to probably have 40 to 80 hours in this wedding if it's an 8-hour wedding. But you're charging for your experience, your preparation, your backup planning, stress management, and once in a lifetime moments that you cannot miss. That's what you're charging for. If you're in that price range, don't miss any important shots. In fact, I highly suggest have somebody to pose for you. If you're married, your wife can learn how to pose. They're really good at this. My wife's been posing for 35 years. She's excellent. It helps you stay behind the camera so you can manage the stuff behind the camera that you need to do. And have another photographer, just like you went along with another photographer, have somebody come along with you. They can do it for free. They might do it for $100, depending on how much they know. That'll take a little stress off of you. I mean, even if they don't know much about photography, just having eyeballs looking away from you for a minute can relieve some stress on you instead of everybody looking right at you. A wedding photographer is a part-time photographer, part problem solver, part counselor, and the couple is trusting you with memories that you cannot redo. That's why wedding pricing grows faster than any other area of pricing, families, models, whatever it is, because once people see that you can catch all these shots and you're very consistent, your name's going to get passed around. And people listen to referrals. People love referrals. Our whole career was built on referrals. And number 7, don't feel guilty for charging people because you've put a lot into this. I mean, you've bought equipment. You spent a year working with another photographer. You've got lots of time and investment in learning, getting it right. You've gone through the stress. You're trying to get consistent. You're booking. You've shot smaller weddings. You're trying to get bigger weddings. So don't feel guilty. It's like, say you tore an ACL or something. You want a good, dependable doctor that's consistently good at what he's doing. You don't want somebody that's, I can do it for $75 and there's a 27% chance you can walk again. No, you don't want that. You're going to want somebody who's the best. You don't really care about the price a whole lot. I mean, you do, But you really want your ACL fixed more than anything else. You don't want it done wrong, just like you don't want a wedding done wrong. You want something done right, you hire a professional. That's how it is. People aren't really paying you for your photos. They're paying you so they don't have to worry. Because if they've gotten referred maybe 2 times, but maybe 2 people that know you have referred, let me try that again, sorry. Maybe they ran into 2 people that have referred you. That is excellent because they know 2 people that you have done the job for. You didn't miss any pictures. You did a great job. And that will land you the next wedding. And pricing is not going to be that big of an issue if you've got the right client. If they're more interested in having good pictures, pricing is not really going to matter a lot. Now, you can set people up on payments. I do all the time. Just make sure that if you're, let's go back to the $800 to $1,500, make sure that it's all paid up before the wedding. Don't shoot and never, ever deliver anything before it's paid for. So, if they book a wedding and they're getting married 12 months later, I let people make 12 payments. Say that it was $3,600, that's $300 a month they can send in. And by the time it's their wedding day, that before the wedding is paid for. Now you're going in to shoot the pictures and they'll be ordering reorders. You don't have to worry about trying to find money from anybody. That was something else we did when we first started. We let them pay half and the other half on the wedding day. We try to collect it before you leave. You got another 30 to 45 minutes to chase down the right person because, you finally find who's paying for it. Be like, no, my wife's got it. And like, no, my husband's got it. And you finally find who was paying for it. And their credit card's way out in the car and it just never ends. So get your money up front. Don't think about money. Don't talk about money on the wedding day. This is their wedding day. Put all the business before the wedding and the rest of the business after the wedding, not during the wedding and not on their wedding day. Because when they're paying you not to worry, you're removing a little bit of stress from their wedding day. And wedding day is a big ball of stress. Bride's mom, more so on the bride's mom probably than anybody else because the bride's getting married. She's pretty happy. But the bride's mom loves to stress out. And if they know they can trust you, that's one thing they can mark off their list is worrying. And I actually tell my clients once they book with me, like, look, if you want to worry about the cake, if you want to worry about the tux, that's fine. But listen to me. Do not worry about the wedding photography because I am taking care of that for you. You have no worries on that end. And I cannot tell you how many people are at ease once you tell them that. They're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to worry about Daniel showing up on time or getting the pictures or doing good. They know you're going to do it. And when you say that, it does. You can almost see the relief in their face if you're face to face with them. Go, don't worry, I got this. Worry about whatever you want. Do not worry about the photography. We got that for you. That's why you're paying us. People love that. And it's true. You better be doing the right job or you won't be doing photography long. But you've already went through the steps of proving you can do it. So you're at the point you're not trying to prove yourself anymore. You already proved yourself. So start around the $800 to $1,500. Go up 52. I think I would go up. I do the first one for $800, then I'd start going up $200, go to $1,000, then go to $1,200. Then when you get to $1,600, maybe hang out in the $1,600 area for a while, and then keep jumping in increments. Once 6 months has gone by, if you're still booking 100% or 95% of everybody that calls you, keep raising your prices till you start getting some no's. You want to hear no about 25% of the time so that you know that you're priced right. Otherwise, you're doing it too cheap, and you're undercutting yourself when you do that. All right, guys, in closing, I'm sorry I've rambled a little bit through this because I've dealt with this my entire life. So sorry about that. In closing, you don't become a professional photographer the day you buy a camera. You become a professional photographer when somebody pays you to photograph their once in a lifetime day. That's how you know when you become a professional photographer. And I kind of explain the pricing to go along with that. Go to $800, go to $1,000. Once you reach $1,600, stay there for a while. And if you never get a no, keep raising your prices till you start getting some no's. And then you'll know kind of level out. And that lets the market kind of decide your price. And again, pricing is not really about money. It's about taking on that responsibility and relieving that anxiety from them so they don't have to worry about it. Now, that is my opinion. Okay. I did it for 42 years. There are other ways to do it. This is what I suggest. If you hear of a YouTube photographer who's been shooting for 40 years, that's got another way. If they've been doing it for 40 years, their way apparently worked. So my way works for me, and I think it'll work for you too. But don't feel guilty about pricing. Just accept the responsibility that you are in charge and you are responsible for the pictures. That day, you're going to get them. You're going to get them right. You're going to be consistent. You're not going to miss any moments. and you're going to deliver when you say you're going to deliver. And once you do, under promise and over deliver, you can say, I'll have your shoot proof gallery out in 6 weeks. Well, 3 weeks later, you can write them and say, hey, here's a link to your gallery. We got them done early. Hey, he's awesome. He did it 3 weeks quicker than he said he was going to. But don't do the opposite. Don't say, I'll have them to you in 3 weeks. And then 6 weeks later say, oh, here's your pictures. Because then they go, well, this guy's an idiot. He took twice as long to do the pictures, all based on something silly. Just say, it's going to take me 6 weeks. Do it in 3 or 4. They're thrilled. Under promise, over deliver. Very simple. Just don't forget that. Keep your confidence, under promise, over deliver, stay consistent. You're good to go. If you guys have any questions about the pricing, let me know. I know everybody's in a different area and some of you guys are in different countries. Feel free to drop a message down at the bottom. Send me an email. We'll get it figured out for you, okay? So again, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you learned something from this because pricing is such a hard thing for people to get through their head. And I understand it is to think, why would somebody want to pay me? I've been doing this for a year. Why would they want to pay me to do their wedding? Well, we discussed that in the video. So go back and rewatch it again. You guys are going to do great. You guys are going to start making money. The ones that want to do this for money. Now, if you're just doing it for a hobby, that's fine. This was more for people that are wanting to build a business in weddings or families or whatever the case may be. So anyway, I am available to help you guys out with any questions you have. Just drop a message down at the bottom. We'll be glad to help you. And again, thank you so much for your time. And we're here to help you out. Thanks a lot.